What's going on, guys? We're back in the garage working on the Honda again. So I think what I'm going to do today is something I've been wanting to do for a while and just lower the front end on this thing a little bit. I'm going to get the tape measure out, but you guys should be able to see the front end is just slightly higher than the rear. I want to take some measurements and and I also want to reinstall my center caps, which I took off to rebalance my front wheels, and in the process had to bust those out to rebalance them, and I had them glued in there. So I'm going to try to put those back in as well as lower the front a little bit. So I'm just going to go down in the coilovers a little bit. I'll show you guys how I do that, and then maybe I'll wash it or something. I got some odds and ends I want to try to tie up on this thing, just miscellaneous little things that I'm just trying to pick away at, because if you let them all build, then your car becomes a piece of junk once you got all these little problems with it, you know. And I feel like you just kind of knock them down as they appear, and I've been letting them build on this thing, and I just want to try to knock all those things out. It'll add to the overall appeal of the vehicle to me, because little things drive me crazy, you know. They bug me, but not enough for me to fix it, but just they bug me for me to complain and think about it. So yeah, I'm gonna get to work on this thing, and we'll see what we can get done tonight. So I got nothing done that day. I did wash the car last night, and I waxed it around like 9. The wax was smearing because it was getting dew on top of the car while I was waxing it, and it wouldn't wipe the wax off, but it feels pretty good. It's pretty darn shiny. I'm happy. It always looks pretty good after a fresh wash and wax. I can't complain, you know. I really can't, based on, you know, this being the first car I ever sprayed, and I don't know if I could do it again this good if I tried. I really lucked out. But yeah, anyway, the few things that I think I'm gonna work on right now is lowering the front, like I said, and so I'm gonna get it jacked up, pull the front wheels, and get to work. So to use these coilovers, they're pretty easy. You gotta have the tools that they came with. But this is for the upper ones to do the pre-tensioning. But that should already be set for you. The what do you call it? The preload on the spring. Don't mess with that. What you're messing with is down here, and that's the actual ride height. So this entire base here, too much light, my bad. This entire base here will screw into this right here. So, you know, you can just keep threading this in as long as this collar is up higher. So what I was just at was about 2.693, so I was at about 2.7, and I brought it, which is this gap right here. I measured this with some vernier calipers like this right here, and I brought it down to that value right there, which is 2.5. So we brought it down like 0.2 or a little less. And I just want to see what that translates to out here. I was dumb and didn't take a measurement out here, and I already jacked it up. And once you jack it up and put it back down, you're going to end up with a different measurement, because it's just kind of got to settle. So rather than go drive it around again, I just decided I would just do it. So I went from about 2.7 to 2.5. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. We'll see what that side's at, and we'll drop that down to 2.5 as well. Then we'll put it back on the ground, maybe jostle it, roll it forwards and backwards, see if it settles in a little bit, and yeah, just see what we're looking like. And if it looks like it's still a little high, then I'll just have to wait. But if it looks really low, then I might have to bring it back up. But I don't think it'll be too low. I think I'm just going to let it settle and see where it rides at. See if I start to scrape. If I do scrape a little bit and it's worth it, I'll leave it. If I scrape a lot, I'll lift it. But if I don't scrape at all, who knows, maybe we'll lower the back too and just go for a real dump look. because why not? If I can, I'm a little bit more comfortable with the car now, and I know what I can and can't do. So let's ruin that and make it lower, because it's really not that low, and I think it has the potential to go lower. Anyway, we're gonna try it. So I glued my caps on. So now I got my center caps back, and I'm lowered even more. So we're gonna throw this wheel on, and we'll see where this thing sits. I'm hoping I can tell a difference right away. That'd be pretty cool. It would be funny if it's too low, because I really didn't go that much. It was, here's what we did. The right front was at 2.706. We threw that at 2.561. So we'll see. We kind of tried to, stay close to what I wanted to do, but it's really not that critical, I don't think. So we'll throw the wheel on and we'll see where we're at. So I'm out here in the morning, just getting to work, and I don't know, we'll see if you guys can tell, but I polished this pipe here. I hit it with a little bit of gray Scotch-Brite here, and that seemed to take some of the roughness out. I don't think I'm going to be able to get all of it out, just due to the nature of how this metal is. It's kind of cheesy, cheap stuff, and I kind of hack it together. So regardless, if I sand it up a little bit and get rid of some of the deeper scratches, I can try to get some of the shine back with a little bit of chrome polish. So this pipe's looking pretty good on the right side versus this dull one. So I think I'm just gonna try to go over the pipes and polish it up just to make it look halfway decent, because I always think it looks so much better when the pipes are polished. And I had that coolant splatter everywhere from my old radiator cap that was leaking, and it got all over the pipes, and it made everything look really bad. So this is cleaning it up nicely, so I'm gonna keep working on that and just try to touch everything up here. So a couple more odds and ends I've been just finishing up. I emptied the catch can. I also did a couple other things. I did the rear speaker grills. They always used to fly off when I would hit a bump. They would fly off, usually when I was on the highway, and that always kind of bugged me. They're always everywhere back there. They'd be in the back seat. One would be all sideways over here. So put those in. Now those are not coming out. I really want to get this rear glass retinted, and I'm desperately trying to figure out what to do with this weather stripping here. Part of me wants to have the glass replaced and have them do it right. Part of me wants to just hack a weather strip on there myself with some kind of glue. I just don't want to wreck it, but I don't think I will. Even if I do that, I'll be able to dig the glue out and pull the glass out, and I contemplate maybe doing it myself, but I'm not a pro at glass, but I probably could do it. But it just makes me a little bit nervous. Yeah, not sure what I want to do. I should have did this while I was painting. I should have had the glass taken out, painted it, and then had a glass put in. That's kind of what you do, but I didn't do that because I wanted to drive it the whole time. So whatever, learn from my mistakes, guys. The front glass I had replaced when I first got the car because it was cracked, so that's a different story. But I contemplate, I want to have the windows tinted again, or do it myself. I'm not really sure, but I can't do back glass, so I might as well just have somebody do all of them. So there's some problems I want to fix too with the windows. The passenger window goes up really slow. I think it just needs to be lubricated again. I do that all the time. I think the rubber's worn out, but that one's not too bad. But the driver's side, the window will not roll up unless I have the door closed. I think there's a broken wire on the door. I should probably look into that. I think I might look into that today. I think I'm going to pull the door panel off right now, try to mess with that, just because that kind of bugs me, and I know it's going to get worse. And if somebody's going to tint the windows, they got to do it with the door open. So if you're going to have the door open, that's like the only way you can tint the window. So if I can fix this window and that window, then I think I'll consider having the windows tinted somewhere and possibly have them do this too. But I just got to figure out the weather stripping. So yeah, that's something that I want to do coming up, just to get this thing to 100% and make me happy with it. But I know that a glass guy could probably do the weather stripping on it, but they always say you got to have the glass out and you put it in with the glass. That's kind of how it goes. You glue it in there with the glass, and that's how it goes. If you take that out like I did, you can't get another one in there unless you like goop some glue in here and just kind of haphazardly just stick it in there. And I think that's kind of what I want to do, but I don't know. I just hope that it doesn't look bad, especially after I glue it in there. But that's what I'm gonna attempt to do. I think I have a piece somewhere, so I'm gonna just do that, maybe a small section at a time over the course of a few nights. And anyway, that's the plan for that. Just gonna wing it and see how it goes. Anyway, I'll stop talking, and I'm just gonna see what we find in the door over here. Start yanking this thing all apart. Yeah, guys, so just as I suspected, I don't really think I even had to take the door panel off, to be 100% honest. The problem is right there. Should have just looked there first. Took the whole door panel off for nothing. But, learn from my mistakes, I guess. Anyway, I found the problem. As soon as I started messing with everything, the window stopped working. Like, as soon as I touched this over here. So, I don't know if you can see the green wire up top there. He's not touching anything. He's just hanging out. I think he pulled out of the back of the pin there. So I'm going to try to unplug these connectors and pull them up and make sure we don't have any more issues, and try to figure out how I'm going to repin that connector so my window will go up. So that's kind of a bummer. I thought it was just going to be a wiring repair. Now we're looking at fixing a pin, so hopefully I can find something that fits that. Alright guys, so I got the connector out. Kind of a pain to get it unplugged, but I got it. If you look, it's this guy right here that is the problem, and the green and white pull directly out of there. So I'm assuming that is the problem. I mean, even if it's not, I want to fix it because there's an issue here. So I'm going to try to depin it right now. It pulled right out of the back of the pin, and if I can find a similar pin, then I can crimp that wire and stick that pin in there, possibly with a little bit of slack so it doesn't pull out. I'll figure that out. Or alternatively, I could bypass it, but it's a connector right at the door, so it's kind of hard to bypass something of that nature. So I'd really like to fix it like this. This is like kind of the right way to do it. It'd be nice to have the correct pin, and if I go to the junkyard, I could always steal something off of a vehicle, but unfortunately I don't have that luxury right now. I don't really feel like going to the junkyard just to get a pin. So I'm going to try to make this work without it, and I'm going to use this needle back probe here to try to pick the pin out of there without destroying it. I'm sure there's a proper tool for it. I don't know if I can go in from the back side. I'll try that first to try to pry the plastic tab out that allows the pin to come out. But when you don't have a wire to pull on, it's kind of hard. So I don't know. I'm just going to mess with it, and I'll see if I can get it out without destroying it. And I'll let you guys know how I end up doing that. But This is kind of a tedious thing, but you can get it. So I'm not sure how close the GoPro will focus, probably right about there, but you may be able to see the small tab that's in there. There's like a little blue tab. Try to point to it. Right at the top here, there's a tab. And that's what you're trying to pry. I just pried that this way and held it while I also pushed down on the terminal from this side. And the terminal came out. And somebody soaked this whole thing in some kind of grease at one point, but this is the terminal. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit. Everything's got some kind of grease in there. It's not dielectric grease, so I'm not really sure why that's all like that. I'm gonna try to blow it out. I don't think that I did that. I wouldn't put grease in there. That's not dielectric grease. But yeah, this is kind of nasty. That didn't really contribute, I don't think, unless it like greased it up so it yanked out. I think it was just over time it loosened up on the crimp. So I do have the pin here. I could possibly just re-crimp it. I think it did. It pulled out from the crimp section. I could always crimp it on the back side, or I'll try to find another pin that'll fit in this hole first. Alright, so I've come up with something. I got that pin out, like I said, and it pulled right out of the back side. So I cleaned it up a little bit. It looks, a little bit more presentable. But yeah, you can see it broke at the crimp, and then this rear section is only where it crimps at the insulation. So that's not really meant to crimp the wire, but it was, now that's why it looks so big, because the insulation was there. But the thing is, I don't have this pin. I don't have anything like it, but I do have this, which is similar, and I got this actually from the trunk where the trailer brake hookup is. It's that blue connector in the trunk by the driver's side tail lamp assembly, and it's not the correct pin because the terminal tension was not correct, but I think the locking mechanism looks about the same, and so what I'm going to do is try to see if it locks in to this connector. But I think first I'm probably just going to solder it on there just to get it hooked up, because if I lock it in there I don't want to take it back out, because the more times you do that you're going to wreck these connectors, and if this isn't a good repair then I'll have to do another repair at a later date. But hopefully it'll be enough to get me by. Yeah, not the correct pin, but we're going to make it work. What I did was the tension wasn't correct, so I kind of turned it upside down, and make sure the GoPro's awake so I can see. I turned it upside down and I took a pick to the back side of the blade. There's like a blade that tensions it. If you look like down the front of it, there is a piece of metal in there, and you can hit it from the back side with a pick and pry it up. But I almost stabbed myself, so be careful doing that, because there's obviously an open hole in the bottom. But the best way to do it, I think, I put it upside down on the bench like this, put a pick to the back side of that blade, and just tapped it with a hammer and kind of bent the blade towards this side here. And so now it actually has good tension. I took the connector off the door here, and I can take this pin and go, the female pin, and go onto the male pins and just see what kind of tension it has. And it really goes on pretty good. It's not too tight. I think it's got a really good drag to it. It's even tighter than some of the other pins. And if you know anything about terminal tension and how much drag you should have, you could just kind of compare it to other ones. If you want to just at work, we have test tools like this where you'll drag this across the pin, and or the tool itself is weighted, and you hold it upside down like this, and if the tool falls out, then the tension's not good. Essentially, it's supposed to be like you can feel what it feels like on your own and know if the terminal tension is good or not. But that tool, technically, you're supposed to see if it falls out or not. But yeah, with this one, with this pin here, this is the pin that's supposed to go on these pins. It's actually what I think is pretty loose, because it should go on a bit tighter on some of these pins. It's not that bad, I guess. It feels pretty consistent all the way through. It's definitely a different pin design, and it's nicer. Definitely is going to work better than what I'm doing, but I hope that this is enough. Hope there's not a big voltage drop through this connector and the window doesn't work as well, but like I said, we'll just have to see how it goes. It is a smaller wire, but I don't know. I'm gonna send it. This amount of wire shouldn't be enough to drop the voltage, so I'm gonna stick it on there a little bit longer, kind of wrap the wire in a little loop like this is right here. Somebody did a repair in here. I don't know if that was me. I don't think it was, but it looks like two different wire colors are put together, so maybe that's a factory job there, or this wire feels more flexible than the rest of these, so I think somebody had to repin this prior. I don't think that was me, so multiple pins have pulled out of this connector at this point, which is funny. So yeah, somebody did the same thing. They probably had a correct connector there. That's cool to see that somebody else been in there, and that's a solid repair. You know, it's been working. So yeah, I'm gonna try to do the same thing, and probably not as nice, but almost as nice. So I got it all put in place. I'm the orange heat shrink down here, or red, underneath the red wire with the green wire there. So I'm just gonna try to tape this all back up like it was, stick it back inside the boot, plug it in, and we'll go ahead and test it and see if we have functioning window on the driver's side. And then I'll probably look into the passenger side, why it's slow, at a later date, I'm thinking. I don't know. I might mess with it today. It is only 10 o'clock, but I don't know if I want to get into all that today. I think there's other things I could be doing, so I think I'll probably call it quits on this thing, and then I'll go to the car show tonight. So yeah, I'll probably make the car show a separate video if I do some filming there. So let's see if this thing works. Moment of truth. Well guys, it works. I fixed it. All set. Goes down and back up pretty quickly, so I'm happy. If we could only get the passenger side to be that quick. Sounds like there's a voltage drop. See, it just won't go up. But I don't know if it's because it needs to be lubricated, because that usually helps. So I'm going to do that for now, and then maybe we'll go get some gas in this thing later. But yeah, that's pretty good. I'm excited. I'm going to put a little more fluid film in the door while I'm in here, just to you know, try to keep it from rotting. And yeah, that's that.